through COVID and through the last couple of years, like so many people are moving here. Because like, for example, even traffic to get to Naples takes us like an hour and a half sometimes.
Have you been to Miami? Have you been to DC?
Yep.
Have you been to New York?
Yep.
Go there for a week and then come back here. You will kiss our roads. So we're just spoiled. I don't comment, even though I really want to, on a lot of the Facebook websites. Listen, I might not be on it all the time, but I watch all the different groups. And I really want to say, if it's so bad here and you don't love it and you were born here and you hate to change, it's a free country.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big room.
Fair.
Welcome back to the Piece of Grit podcast. Today we have the one, the only Lauren Maxwell on the show today. She has done a ton in the mortgage space. She has dominated Naples since 1987 here locally, and she is a top 5 producer in the country with mortgages.
well, I'm in the top 1%. I'm in the top 5 with my own company.
Of your own company.
Right? And I'm number 23 person in the country.
That's insanity. So we love having conversations with highly successful people. And obviously you are very much in that category, but you also work with a lot of highly successful people. What are some common traits that you've found in the highly ambitious, highly successful, a lot of your clients that you work with?
They don't shut down. They don't shut off, even from my boss to people who are in the top of the game. There's no off button. Once you hit go, then it's go, go, go. I know a lot of our competition, and listen, everybody, I'm not judging, but they do a lot of business in a month and then they take a 2-week, 3-week vacation. Well, that's not consistent. So that's why I've been here and been around town for 36 years and been doing mortgages.
How do you stay motivated to keep producing at a high level? Because you did a record year during COVID. And then you keep coming back and dominating. Obviously, COVID was a crazy situation. I want to get into that. But specifically, what keeps you motivated?
I love what I do. I really do. I love helping people. I love the challenge. I love the tough deals. I feel super grateful that my phone consistently rings and people are always knocking on my door, because I've been through a crash and I started all over in 2007-8. So after being highly successful for 20 years and having the market completely stop and losing everything and starting from scratch, it's not about money. First, it really isn't. I know people think I'm money motivated. I'm not. I love what I do. However, I was there when the rug was pulled out from under me, and I never want to be in that situation again. So I don't take my phone ringing or people knocking on my door for granted.
How did you pull yourself back out of that after the crash?
Well, people would say, well, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Well, it was the only thing I ever did since I was 19. So what was I going to go work at CVS? Not that I wouldn't have if I had to put food on our table. So I just went from a high level. Back then in 2007, I was the number 1 producer for our company, and I did $65 million a year. That was a really big number because the average house was maybe 180 to 200,000. So going to closing 20, 30, 40 loans a month to all of a sudden being lucky if you could close 3 or 4 loans a month was an enlightening experience. Needless to say, I had a nice big house in Pelican Marsh. I sold the house. I would travel. I'd gamble. I had 2 cars. I was also a single mom at the time. I had I had a really fun life, and I changed. I had a daughter who was in private school. Thank God I had always saved for her college education, so I was still able to keep her in her private school. But I had to sell my big house, and I had to short sale a bunch of homes I was building in Fort Myers. I bought a condo. I had saved enough money where I was able, when I sold my house, to pay cash for the condo. However, I had all my stocks went down. As we all know what happened. I had deferred compensation. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's where you save money as you earn it, and it's not taxable until you take it. However, when companies go bankrupt, you could lose it, and I lost all that money. So imagine earning $600,000-$700,000 after 20 years, gone. So stock market crash, income down 90%, lost my deferred comp, lost my big house, lost my rentals. Literally, I know people think, oh, well, she still had money to buy a condo. That's all I had.
Yeah.
I mean, so yes, I was very grateful I didn't have to live in a trailer in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, although I would have been able to. You know, I'm a chameleon. I can acclimate anywhere. However, it really was an experience that makes you realize, you know what, my kids are still healthy. You know, my family was still around. I had a ton of friends and life was still fun. It was just simpler. It really was. You don't shop as much. You don't gamble. You know, you don't have as fancy cars, but it was fine. You know, so I got used to living like that. And really, I was going to stay that way for a long time. I never, ever thought I would be sitting here and talking to you guys about the numbers I do today, because I was going to be real happy with making $80,000 to $100,000 a year by, you know, just keeping my life simple.
So then when you build back from that, how do you, because we talk to business owners all the time that are in the early stages, and they go through moments of that's a traumatic situation where everything kind of is torn down around you. How do you not get stuck in the woe is me loop? How do you not get stuck in the this is coming again loop, like that anxiety place where you can't really step into that abundant mindset that you need to be successful?
Well, it was scary. You know, the first morning when I was on my emails and I would get up at like 6 a.m. and it all of a sudden said, it is with a heavy heart that we are now closed down and we can't fund any more loans. And I'm thinking, well, they can't be talking about me because I have a lot of loans in my system. I have all new computers. I had just, you know, left my company to start another one. And it was the largest company in the country that I went to out of Scottsdale, Arizona, it was First Magnus. And then I realized as I'm watching the news, imploding companies. Oh my God, our company just imploded. What am I going to do? And I cried. I was scared. I was sitting, I think I sat at my desk for a couple of hours in shock. And then the phone started ringing from some of the larger producers in the country. We were called by Flagstar Bank. They were out of Flint, Michigan. And they called us in to meet us in New Jersey. I happened to have been dating a guy at the time that liked to gamble, and he was calling at the same time saying, hey, let's get on a flight. We're going to go to New Jersey for the weekend. I'm like, this is perfect. I'm like, can we stay? Because Monday morning I have to meet with these guys from Flagstar. It's like, sure, this is real. And I did. And so there were about 10 of us, you know, the bigger producers, Paul Diamond, Greg Whites. Anyway, I felt grateful that I was called in, and we had to go work for a bank. Now, being in our industry, having to go work for a bank is, truthfully, if I had known what I was going to go through that year, I might have went to work for CVS. Okay? It was hard.
What does it mean to work for a bank?
They're much more stringent. It's black and white. It's not just about creativity. You know, guidelines are guidelines. They're guides, but there's ways that you can make deals work. And when you work for a bank, and I've tried it now twice, I'll get into my second failure if you'd like to hear about that after. Anyway, it was a really hard, challenging year. I mean, no offense, because I never play the woman card, but I was in there with a bunch of men who owned this bank, started the bank, and they weren't used to a strong woman. It wasn't a good fit. I lasted a year, and then I left, thank goodness. And then little by little, again, I was still real happy in my life. I got a call from a friend of my mom's who was a realtor and said, hey, you need to come see this villa. They're starting a new project at Gray Oaks. Gray Oaks is like my dream where I used to live before I had, you know, lost everything. And I'm like, I can't afford to ever go back in there. She goes, no, they're starting this project and I think you can. So I went to look at it, and I passed the first time because I'm like, I own my house free and clear. I'm going to stay. Anyway, 2 months later, she goes, are you sure? I go, well, let's go look again. Anyway, I decided I'm going to try it. So I put a down payment. Anyway, I ended up moving back into that house. I built one in there. And then just from there, I just kept working and getting busier and busier, always staying in everybody's face. And every event somebody wanted me to go to, I would go to. Anything with a sponsorship, even if I couldn't afford, what they asked me, I'd say, look, this is what I can afford. I can give you my time as well. And I would just do that. I was always there. So I really was, and I hope still am, the staple of who you think about when you need a mortgage, because I've never left. And anyway, that point, I met my husband, and we turned our condo that I owned into a rental. And then all of that money that I had saved in the stock market, remember I lost it? I remember that deferred comp. Well, I decided I'm not going to rely on other people to manage my money. So when I started becoming successful again, every time I got successful, I would buy a piece of property. My husband would go look at it. He wouldn't even let me look at it because he says, you think everything's supposed to look like our house. So we would never own a rental. So I just was the person who ran the numbers. I'm the ROI, return on investment. He went and looked at it to make sure it wasn't going to fall down. And needless to say, I'm going to tell you guys something. Take your future in your own hands, because all those 20 years, remember I lost everything and I still hadn't gained that much in the stock market. I should have been worth millions and millions of dollars, and I wasn't. Well, I'm now, since I've been with my husband and we do what we do, I'm worth 28 times what I ever thought I would be worth. And that's all from real estate. And these are not fancy or expensive. I buy the cheapest home in the worst neighborhood because you can fix it up. And believe it or not, when I started buying all these properties with my husband in East Naples, because the rents were maybe 20 or 30% cheaper than in North Naples, but the houses were 50 and 60% cheaper. So again, it's about return on investment. And you have to think about that, what you spend and what you're going to get. So yeah, it might not be by the beach, but they don't get that much more on a yearly rental, which we were doing at the time when we started out. And so we bought multifamily after multifamily, and that's, and that's how we did it. So I tell people, like, I started out in this business making $17,000 a year. I went to making nothing. And this isn't like somebody gave me something. You can't look at me and go, oh, that's her finished product. She's always been like that, because it wasn't like that. And so I want to give everybody hope, because I don't care if you have $10 in the bank. You call me. If you've never owned a home, I have down payment assistance, but I can teach you. I like to teach people how to buy 5 homes in 5 years. I don't care if you have a really bad credit score. We will guide you. We might not be able to help you today, but I'm not going to give up on you, because that is our job, is to make sure everybody has home ownership eventually who comes to see me.
For people that are looking to start investing in real estate, like, where do you recommend to start? Because I know a lot of people think like duplexes are the way to go, or like low income housing. Like, where would you send somebody first?
Those are both really good things. Well, first they have to come into my office or call me on the phone so they know what they can afford. Yeah. That's number one. Okay. And then you want to get yourself with a real estate agent that you connect with, that you don't feel like you're bothering, that you can trust, that you feel that has your best interest at heart. And that's important. But yes, if you haven't owned a home and you come to see me, if you're going to ask me for my recommendation, I would say suck it up and try to look for a duplex, triplex, or quad and live in it for 1 year to get yourself that behind your belt. The first 3.5% down program, maybe it could even be down payment assistance with it. But whatever, that would be the cheapest way, because you can't do a single family at the lower down payment and then work backwards to a multi, because nobody's really going to believe that you're going to leave a single family to live in a multifamily. So yeah, I would absolutely have you do that. I bought my first property, and it was a duplex on SD Avenue when I was single. Wait, this is in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. So when you buy like a duplex, you have to live in it for the first year, right? Like legally?
Well, I mean, unless you have a job transfer or something major happens, but your intent is to live in it. The
intent, right? Because it's like, what happens if you don't live in it? Like, how would you get caught? Because I know someone that's doing it.
That's a crapshoot. It's like getting caught on your taxes or with the IRS. To me, I don't take chances. I don't want to go to jail. When you sign that application, it's a felony. Mm-hmm. If they do audit you, chances are probably not, but you never know. Yeah. So yeah, could it be done? Sure. I just say, I don't really want to know about it. And I wouldn't recommend it. No, really. Yeah. Because I believe in karma. Things come back, do the right thing. And then, that person, you never know, maybe his prices will go down there. I don't know. But I'd be scared. I really would. So, I don't cheat on my taxes. You don't lie in an application that says it's a felony.
Yeah. So I have a question when it comes to being in a service business for this long. Like, what gets you more excited? The fact, obviously working with clients is awesome, but is it the creativity of the deal? Just because I'm watching you talk about the creativity behind these different deals, and you light up. So like, what excites you most about what you do? Is it the people or is it the creativity of the deal making?
I think it's both, probably more creativity. I don't like to let people down. So as I was, walking in here and my whole drive over, I had gotten a call from a realtor who had a veteran. Also that's really near and dear to my heart, are helping veterans. I carry challenge coins in my purse and my pockets when I have pockets in my car. I give them out. I gave one out today. So it was a veteran. So I call him and I talked to him on the phone, and I didn't want him to have to wait. So I texted my 2 loan assistants. I said, hey, somebody needs to call this veteran right now to take this application. So by the time I get home, I'll have it and I can approve him and he can go house shopping. So it's not necessarily of, meeting the client and learning their whole story, because truthfully, I'm not as patient as that. When I have people come in, I have an assistant meet with them. I say, hello. I tell them I'm the doctor. They're going to get all your vitals. They're going to put it together, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to make your world and your dreams come true. Okay.
That's awesome.
But I'm the 5-minute person, or I'm the fixer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I like the art of the deal. I want him to be able to own that house. He was working with another lender who sat on his deal. She said, my realtor called me and goes, Lauren, this guy's been waiting 4 months for this other lender. Like, I'm immediate. When people call you, they're excited. They want to go. So I want to approve them in a day or two. I mean, I should be able to do it in a couple of hours, unless you're self-employed and you have to provide me tax returns. So I think it's just being able to close the deal, helping people, giving them their dream.
How do you manage your time? Because I mean, especially being somebody that is the face of your brand, and also people know you as the person. How do you manage your time? The 5-minute meeting I love, but like, what do you view as worth your time versus not worth your time? And how have you delegated over the years?
Well, I'm in my office all the time talking to clients, every client. I'm on my emails 24/7. So I'm there making deals happen. I'm in there with the processors when there are, issues. I'm, the person who helps fix the deals to make sure that they work. I get involved in a lot, not just my own deals, but my loan officers' deals. So they come to me for that. I think that's just because when I started in the business, I was a processor. So I've been an operations manager. I've been a closer. I've been an underwriter. I've done all self-employment tax returns. When you've done everything in the business, I do have 30 years more experience than most people just coming into this as sales. Sales is great, and you have to be a great salesperson. You could be the best salesperson in the world, but if you don't have a great manager and a great ops team behind you, you're nothing, because then you can't get anything done.
That's true, not just in mortgages, but in business as a whole. I always say people in service industry specifically, it's not about the fact that you still do all the micro tasks, but like the best leaders of those types of companies that I've seen are the people that are ingratiated in every single detail. Now, I'm interested because I heard you talk about this at a luncheon with Josh and everybody, but how you present yourself to your clients. Something that you said that I thought was interesting is you're not really public when you go out on like when you're going on a vacation, for instance. You're not super public about, I'm taking time off, I'm this and that. And you're talking to these real estate agents who are younger in the game, and they're going, to Colombia, and they're posting all about it. And you were saying that like clients don't appreciate knowing that you're making off with all their, you know what I mean? Like, how do you, I'd love to get more context on like how you position that.
Well, I don't travel. I travel we have a house in Georgia on the lake. So when I travel there, I have an office there. So I work as well. Other than that, I travel for my daughter's volleyball. Like, we leave at 5 o'clock. I have a plane that's leaving for Daytona for a volleyball tournament. I'm working. So I go away. My company, my boss takes the top 10 to an amazing once-in-a-lifetime trip every year to these incredible places. When I say incredible, things that I would never do. So that I do, but either we have events at night or during the day. So if the events are at night, I'm working at least 5 hours during the day, even though we're in Europe, wherever we are. We've been in St. Bart's, we've been in Monaco, we've been in all kinds of places. When it's during the day, if we'll have beach parties, then I'm working all night. So I know people say it can't be all work, no play. To me, it's not work. Like, I like it. And all right, so I was at the inauguration. So I left on Saturday morning, And I came home on Tuesday and I actually had to put an out of office because people expect me to answer my emails. And on Monday, I knew with all of our events, I was not going to be able to answer emails. So I did put that. It's very rare, unless I normally have a medical procedure where I can't answer an email within 2 hours. That's the only time I'll put an out of office. When I do travel, first of all, if you're traveling, if you're really having fun, how could you be posting on social media the whole time? Can I ask you that? I mean, we have to remember to take pictures, because when we travel, we're sightseeing, we're with people. I don't even normally carry my phone. My husband will have it in one pocket and it's in my purse. But if I'm out there, so when I watch people, and again, no judgment, I just don't understand it, because I have to remember to go back and even post anything after my trip. Or I might be tagged. People will tag me, but I'm normally not posting unless it's like all of a sudden at midnight, I had some great pictures. Hey, this is where we're at. We're having a great time, But when I do my out of office, it also tells them everybody they can reach and says, we will not skip a beat. I'm your forever lender, Lauren. I want to make sure they know you can call this person for this person for that. I still will be checking email. So I do have an amazing team.
But I heard two things there. There is no off button. And like what I think most people like to imagine is you work. So then you can just take off. Like I've never met a successful person that has taken a 7-day vacation and completely logged off of work, like ever. And I've just personally never seen that. Either you're itching at it, like you can't get away from it, or your business literally can't function in a wet world that you completely disassociate for 7 days. Do you think that for you, is it just, how do you keep that stamina to where you can just work all the time for as long as you have?
Everybody has different qualities in their life. My husband has done an interview and he calls me the rainmaker. There are just, listen, it's certain people, like I said, they're born with gifts. I'm a really bad dancer. I would love to be a great dancer. I would love to be Carrie Underwood as my idol. I'd love to be a great singer. I'd love to be 5'6". I'm 5'1". I don't have those qualities. But what I do have is nobody can outwork me. And I love what I do. I'm very upbeat. I'm pretty happy all the time. I'm not moody. So there was just, I make money move. That's what I do. That's my quality. I make money move. So I'm very lucky. I mean, what I touch and the things, and I'm very methodical about it. I don't make rash decisions. So, and it's a quality I have. We're all good at something. My daughter, I have a younger daughter. She's an amazing pianist. My son, he's a great athlete. I have another older daughter who's just very simple and kind and a phenomenal nurse. We're all good at something. So this is my gift. I have a lot of energy. I don't need a lot of sleep. My husband sleeps with headphones because even though it's dark, I wake up every hour or two and I check my emails. I grab my glasses and I talk and answer emails at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. Okay. So I just will answer you. I know it's just a gut feeling I have when I feel like I have another email, because I don't go to sleep until every email is answered.
Since you've been in Naples for so long, like how have you seen it change over the years since you've been here? And like, I would be curious to get your take on where you think we're headed, like for this area specifically.
Well, there's a lot younger people here. And I came here and I was 21. So I was like the youngest person here. It's different generations. Like how old are you? How old are you? Okay. So, my kids are in their 30s. It's a very different generation. So it annoys me when I hear people say, oh, Naples is so old, because it's just so not old. I mean, I think we have 20 elementary schools. And so that's different. The old people who've always lived here and who retired here are dying. And all the new families are coming in, and they're not just coming in from, other parts of Florida. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming from California. They're coming from New Jersey, Connecticut. People want sunshine. They want their kids to be in outdoor sports all the time. They have, DeSantis helped us a lot too, because, of his philosophies, and that's helped as well. So there's all these new communities. We're building new roads. So it's becoming younger.
I know I've heard like there's issues. Do we have like the infrastructure to like take all these people? Because I know like through COVID and through the last couple of years, like so many people are moving here. Because like, for example, even traffic to get from here to work to get to Naples takes us like an hour and a half sometimes.
It's getting there. You have to remember some of the roads are state roads.
Yeah.
Can't do it at a county level. So they have to wait for state funding. State funding has to wait for federal funding. They're getting there.
Yeah.
They're on the agendas. Have you been to Miami?
Yes.
Have you been to DC?
Yep.
Okay. Have you been to New York?
Yep.
Go there for a week and then come back here. You will kiss our roads. So we're just spoiled.
It's true.
Because we've had this life for a long time. Now, for me, people talk about traffic. I won't lie. I leave my house at 7:25 in the morning. I don't leave my office till 7:25 at night. I never notice traffic. So I was like, today I left my office because our internet. So I decided I'm going to go work from home. And it did. It took me like, instead of 7 minutes, it took me 19 minutes. It was. But come on, guys. I was just in DC for those 3 days. I mean, everywhere you go, it's, traffic to traffic. So when I hear people complain, if people complain that much, and I watch, I don't comment, even though I really want to, on a lot of the Facebook websites. Listen, I might not be on it all the time, but I watch all the different groups. And I really want to say, if it's so bad here and you don't love it and you were born here and you hate the change, it's a free country.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I mean,
Big room.
Fair.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true.
Yeah.
I love Naples. I won't lie. Since I came here in October of '88 till now, January of 2005, I think it is the most amazing place in the world. I travel. I do have a second home. But every morning when I take the dogs out, I thank God that I live here and I was able to raise my children here. And even when my older kids went off to college and they would be like, oh, well, we'll never come back when we leave. Guess what? 1 year. They all transfer. Well, we like La La Land. We call it La La Land. And they both live here. I have 3 grandchildren. And I don't know if you know this, but I also have a 15-year-old. I had a late baby as well. So I have kids in 30s all the way down to 15, and they all love it here.
That's awesome. How was the inauguration? Like you went to DC for that recently, right?
I did.
How was it?
All I can tell you is, love or hate Trump, I happen to love him. You have to give this man credit. I mean, we went to 3 balls in 3 nights. This man went to 4 balls in 1 night, was inaugurated and signed 100 treaties or whatever he did. Really the energy, and he always looks like he just woke up, right? He looks like he's just fresh, and he speaks the way he spoke. It was amazing. So we went to the Sunshine Ball the first night, which was great, with Rick Scott. Ashley Moody, our new junior senator, was there. Kid Rock sang for us. It was awesome. Sunday night was the Southern Ball, which were all the southern states, a lot of Alabama people. But I met people from Boston there and Minneapolis. And then the last night was the big one, which was the Legacy Ball. That was 30,000 people. That was
That's
a lot.
insane.
But that was the big one because that's where he was there, and Vance was there, and then the whole family was there.
That's so cool.
So it was really cool. I got to wear 3 different gowns, and we had a good time.
How do you, because you're extraordinarily well known, but you also have an incredible network. How, our podcast is based around young entrepreneurs that are trying to work their way up to being in a position like you are. How do you attract such a high quality network?
Well, I don't know if I have a high quality network, but I'm happy if I do. So thank you. Like I said, be nice to everybody. Treat people how you want to be treated. Try to never say no when they ask you to come do something, whether, again, it's for an event or, a donation. Even if it's $20 or even if it's your time, be part of your community. Again, it didn't happen for me overnight. It was a gradual thing. So I try to sponsor everything. We just became we're the only mortgage sponsor for our new soccer team, professional soccer team. Now FC Naples, Maxwell Mortgage is the recognized mortgage company for FC Naples.
You're everywhere.
So I
you
know,
are all
and that's
over the place.
exciting for us. First of all, it's totally my demographic. Back in the 80s and 90s, I actually was working out of a trailer in Naples Manor. You know where Naples Manor is?
No,
Not familiar.
Wow. Naples Manor, it's the east side of town. So back then it was it wasn't the nicest part. I don't know if it is now, but I worked with a Spanish realtor and a Haitian realtor. Matter of fact, Homer Hippolyte, was my realtor back then. And he would be, what is the word called? Oh my God. he would be translating while I could take, it was paper applications. We did not have computers at the time. And Tracy Hernandez would be translating for the Spanish people. And I did almost all the mortgages in there. So that's my target. You know, the Latinos love soccer, right? And I love helping first-time home buyers. So I was helping people get into homes before they never thought that they could own a house. And I just, like I said, I still do that today. Don't forget where you come from. I still do mortgages for $1 million or $2 million, but I won't lie, and I'm happy to do your mortgage for that. But my favorite clients are really the people who need me. Because number one, they're going to listen to me, right? And they will benefit for it the most. So again, I do mortgages from $70,000 to $7 million. But that first-time home buyer, the Latino market, there's so many Latinos here, and they're everywhere. As you know, I'm really part of NAREP too. Do you know what NAREP is? The National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. You should have them on your podcast.
Very cool.
Okay, it's the most growing population around. So it's still, I never left where I came from.
That's awesome.
You are also great at community events. Like you throw great parties, like your Christmas party is like huge. How do you create a buzz locally the way that you do?
Oh, I think it's just because I've been here a long time. And if you're, and I believe if you're going to do something, you need to do it first class. So if you're going to do it right. And, that's been a lot of experience. I'm older than you guys, so I'm sure my parties weren't always as great, but you know, you learn from your mistakes. So again, if you're gonna do it, have enough food. I don't care if it's the right food. I've been to parties where they run out of food in an hour. You know, so if you're gonna advertise food, you kind of have to do it. And I don't want to tell you that you have to do this, but to me, if you're gonna throw a party, I'm not going to have a cash bar. If I'm going to throw a party, I'm going to be able to do it where I can offer, even if maybe it's not the most high-end alcohol, it might be, you know, just level, you know, or whether it's beer or wine, but I don't want people to have to bring cash. So I think that's why people like to come to my parties. No, but I don't know, just have fun, people. Really, if you're negative Nelly or you're Debbie Downer, you're probably not going to be part of my world. And so I really try to, I'm not going to walk into somebody's office and be miserable. So if you walk into my office and are going to be miserable, you're probably not going to be a long-term, you know, referral source. You're not going to love me and I'm not going to love you. And, you know, just, that's okay. You can't love everybody. So I really surround myself with people who are like-minded, who are upbeat or positive. Not everybody loves me, and that's okay. I've actually went up to people, I go, I know you don't like me, and it's okay. One day you'll learn to love me. I've said that to people before. They might not. They'll never. You know, I kill them with kindness.
Do you think that like that community factor, like building that is like, do you need that for long-term success? Like you've been here for 30 something years doing this. How important is building that community to that?
I think so. My company, we're owned by one person and they're from Cleveland. And I feel that he has grown to be the #1 mortgage company in the country in Cleveland because of that community outreach, from feeding the homeless to being part of the Cleveland Browns to being part of everything that they need in the city. And I think without giving back to your community and without being known, how do you build and grow? Then you're just somebody else on the street, right? Let's face it, there's 9,000 real estate agents. There's tons of mortgage bankers. So I have to stand out. Anybody can do an easy deal. However, they might not have the service that we'll have. And listen, we're not perfect all the time, but we're going to own it and say, we messed up. We're going to fix it. We might need, you know, a couple of day delay, whatever it is. It doesn't happen often, but we will own it. And just being honest, not hiding. So when you have a problem, don't go silent. And then you know how many people don't answer their phones when there's a problem? Most. You pick up the phone, you actually call them first and say, hey, we have an issue, or, oh my God, yes, we're going to, you know, fix this, whatever it is. So just own your stuff, be honest, and don't hide.
How do you deal with having hard conversations like that with disgruntled clients and stuff like that? Like, I think so many people, especially in this day and age, aren't really, the art of communication is somewhat lost. Like, again, they either it's a text or it's an email and they avoid the phone conversation or the face-to-face. How do you navigate that?
Well, I don't love it. Now, if it's a disgruntled client who's just really off basis and we didn't do anything wrong, I will have my ops manager or my sales manager deal with it. If they're really, really rude to them, then Mama Bear will come up and, you know, again, and if it's something though that is something, that we've done and we just have to make it right, I will be happy to pick up the phone. But I don't like listening to, or, I wouldn't be the best person because I'm going to stick up for my people because, my people, I can be mad at my staff. That's different than if you're calling me to be mad at my staff, unless they do something. Because really, my people are very customer service friendly and they will go the extra mile and they are never rude to a client. So I know somebody is going to call me and say that somebody was rude in my world. I just know it's not so. It's just, I'm around them. So, again, if you're calling for a legitimate reason, you didn't get a phone call back, somebody missed an email, then I'm happy to take it, fix it, and, do whatever we can to make them happy.
What do you look at when you hire? Like, is it certain traits? Do you require certain things of people to come onto your team? Like, what do you look for?
Don't get me in trouble. Well, I do want you to be put together. Okay. Don't come in ripped jeans. I don't normally wear jeans, but I'm leaving on a plane soon, so I came here in jeans. You dress for success. So I do believe that you dress up. You come with your hair washed, brushed, teeth cleaned. So that's a look. You have to look presentable because I have clients who walk into my offices every day.
Yeah.
Come in and sit there. If I ask you about your qualities, just answer, look me in the eye. If you're a job hopper, I'm going to ask you about it. The biggest thing that you won't be hired for me is if in that first conversation you want to know all about days off, vacations, and paid time off. Like when I grew up, we were so happy to just get a job. When we were out of college or out of high school, like that would be the last thing. We never even asked about income. You're allowed to ask me about salary, estimated pay. I get that.
Yeah.
But if your main things are about how often you get to take off and things, probably not what I'm looking for. Again, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
when I want somebody who's going to be all in, I never expect them to answer their phones at nights and on the weekends. But when you're there, I want you working. Okay.
You got to hustle. That obviously is easy to instill that culture from the top down because you're the hardest worker in the room, no matter the room. So that's easy for people to understand. What do you think goes into creating a good culture of people that are energized by what they do, not just because of who they are, but because of the community around them and what they're driving forward?
I try to invite them to my functions that we have. So whether we do our real producers, whether we have our event last night, I do a lot of events. So figure 7 to 12 a year, right? So I try to include whoever wants to come. The speaking engagement, I invite everybody to. So that gets people excited in the room because they're proud. People are proud to be near, cross country, Maxwell Mortgage. They're excited. Hey, you did my loan.
Yeah.
And then, so if your team is seeing that and they're excited versus, oh yeah, you guys did my loan and you messed it up. You know what I mean? Trust me, if they're running into their bank from whatever, Chase or Bank of America, they're not going over to their loan. I was going, oh, great job. Right? So people are proud. They send you their kids. So I think just making it exciting. And again, having these great events is where you're the main sponsor. Now your team can take part of it. Yeah, I'm part of the team. So including your team. I don't ask anybody to do work that I haven't done or won't do, whether it's from answering the telephone to somebody. I had a receptionist out all week and other ones have to, go for lunch or leave early. And if somebody wasn't there, I'm happy to answer the phone. I didn't have to do it this week, but doesn't mean I wouldn't. And I'll listen to them sometimes. I'm like, hey, you need to sound a little more upbeat on the phone. It's like, hey, good morning, Maxwell Mortgage. Good morning, Maxwell. I don't like that because I know if I'm calling in for customer service or I'm calling into a car dealership or whatever, to a hotel, the phone, your receptionist, it starts there. You have to have a friendly smile. You have to be nice on the phone or people won't want to call or come in.
I'm interested to know somebody at your level of success and somebody that's also lost it all, rebuilt it. What is actually truly worth the money when it comes to things, whether it be a nice house, a nice car, flying on jets? What is worth the money in your mind?
What is worth the money? Well, first of all, I want to say without your family and love and health, really nothing else matters. So I'm going to tell you, even if I had nothing, I pray with my daughter every day on the way to school. We thank God because I have all healthy children, grandbabies. I get to see my kids all the time. We're all healthy, thank God. What just happened with that airplane, Kansas, they're from Boston.
Crazy.
That is just, I just can't even imagine. So let me start there. I'm super grateful. So people say, why do you still work? Okay. First of all, I love it. So I have no intention of retiring till I'm dead.
Nice.
Maybe I'll have a heart attack in a loan file. That's fine. I'm okay. Let me go out like that. I'm serious. For me, what's worth it is I don't fly commercial unless I have to. So I will work so that I never have to fly on a commercial
That's
plane. I'm going to this volleyball tournament. Do you think I have 11 hours between Friday and Sunday to waste in a car? No, I'm flying on a plane. So I'm literally going to get to the Naples airport at 4:50 because they'll have Wi-Fi on that plane. And I'll be able to work the whole time until I land with my daughter. And then we have two of her friends. One of them, it's going to be exciting. She's never flown on a plane. So I said, oh my God. So this girl, first time, is going to be on a private plane.
Set her expectations really high.
I know. So I love that. So that's the other thing. We like to, be part of my daughter's life. I don't talk a lot about my kids because when you don't have to like emphasize, right? Your whole amazing, because I know who they are. They know I love them. But I am with my daughter all the time on the weekends. She has a lot of travel volleyball, and we sponsor one or two of the kids always from our team because volleyball's expensive. And anyway, so we always have one girl who I kind of adopted. They came over here, escaped from Venezuela. Parents barely had spoken English. And this girl was on Montana's team and was not going to be able to travel. So we took her in last year. She's like our other daughter. And I love her story. So that's also about giving back. Because these kids, it's all about kids. Because you want to mold them because they are our future.
Yeah.
So I love that. And we've always had kids, whether it was even my older kids when they were in their 30s. For some reason, somebody always lived with us at some point.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're doing that. So that's my little thing is I don't like to travel on a commercial plane. My husband will drive places. When we go to Georgia, he likes to drive. So he will drive. My daughter, my 15-year-old, loves to drive. They do car trips, and I fly and I meet them there.
That's so
That's
funny.
awesome. That's really cool. So the final question I have for you is the show is called Piece of Grit because we believe that to be truly successful, you have to have a little piece of grit. What does grit specifically mean to you?
Exactly what I do. I am in the files. So when I'm not just doing sales, I am in there getting files to go through underwriting, getting in with the processors. We have Teams calls all the time. Listen, processors, they're great. They miss a lot of things. They're not salespeople. I had a deal yesterday with one of my salespeople, and he called me. He goes, hey, my processor said I have to do an appraisal only loan. I'm like, why? And he goes, I'm not sure. And I went in there, and it was just a mess. And he's a little bit new, and he's a veteran. And I wasn't going to let his deal fail or let the client, who was his friend, who would have paid 1.5% more to get the loan, but they didn't need to. So I am in there not just for my own loans. Like I said, baby, I'm the mama bear.
Yeah.
I am in there and I'm like, okay, it was totally set up wrong. So I am there from the scratch to get in the nitty gritty, whether it's disclosing loans, locking loans, processing them, to make files work the way they're supposed to, that they don't just benefit the company, but they benefit the borrower to get them the best deal that they can.
Very cool.
That's awesome. How can people find you? How can they support you? Instagram,
And what's coming
social?
next?
Yeah, what's next for Lauren Maxwell?
Well, now that you say that, so December 25th through January 5th, I was in Georgia on my vacation home, and I went to pull in to get my lashes done. And I see a sign that had a different mortgage company name. So I took a picture and I sent it to my recruiter and I said, check this person out. By the time I was done with my lashes, he had an appointment set up for me that night with her. I met her for breakfast the next morning. By Monday, when I got home, I had the offer out to her, and our branch is open there. So I opened a branch in Greensboro, Georgia. Our signage is going in. Her last name is Coffee. So the Maxwell Coffee dynamic duo.
That's awesome.
So that's exciting. So I'm opening an office there. That's what's next for me. So I'm growing in different states. And then I'm just going to still keep doing what I'm doing. There's nothing big to change the mold. We always have new products. I want to still keep helping the community. We're going to be part of FC Naples. So hopefully I will help all of these soccer players and anybody who goes there who doesn't know that they don't need 700 credit scores. They don't need 20% down. I want to help you find your dream. Okay, let's Let's make you money rich by being real estate rich. So one day you don't have to work and you could just be collecting all your rents. That's the truth. 239-596-0500, Lauren at maxwellmortgageloans.com, or just Google me, Lauren Maxwell, Facebook me. All right, I'm over 50. You can Instagram me. I don't know if I really know how to use it yet. All I do is click a button if I don't know how to share. So I think it does it. I'm not sure. Facebook me, okay? Or call me. I'm in my office as well. We're in the Galleria.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on, Lauren.
You're very welcome.